Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. The number one complaint I hear almost all of you tell me, and literally I think every call that I've had with you, this is how it starts. I hate online dating. Like all of you are saying that. And I just want to meet people IRL, in real life, which is the name of my dating show. But let's face it, online and app dating can be daunting. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. Like everybody's saying it. And since coming out of the pandemic, like that didn't help, or the only way you could have met someone, right, was online. So you were all just over it. And you're scrolling through hundreds of profiles, trying to find that someone special who captures your eye, right? And like a slot machine, you suddenly stop at that one picture that captivates you amongst the blur of faces. And it's only then that you start reading the profile to see if it's someone you would even consider taking that next step with. And you then may have a string of bad interview-like dates, like even if you do get dates, leaving you with the feeling that there are just no good men or women out there. In fact, curling up in front of your TV each night is probably more appealing than going through more bad dates. And I totally get it. And it feels transactional. And often, and this is what I'm also seeing, because I'm seeing your accounts, y'all. Like I go into your Bumble and your Hinge accounts. I see what's going on. Often you're just numbing out and not even being intentional or focused, or you're even not even giving people chances because you're so burnt out. But the truth is that dating apps can be a good thing if done right. And if thought about more as another tool to meet people, but it does take a shift in the way that you might be thinking about it, using it, and dare I say, a change in the way you're marketing yourself, because that often is the culprit. And as I say repeatedly, your dating portfolio is like your financial portfolio. You have to diversify as much as possible in order to get the results. You can't just put all your time and effort into apps. You can't put all your time and effort into hoping someone's going to set you up. It's a mix of things. You know, it's never a good idea to pour all your energy into one thing, thinking that's how you're going to meet your soulmate. And the other thing is that what shows up online often challenges you in ways maybe offline that you haven't even thought of. We're going to touch on that today. Maybe it's how you dress, how you flirt, how you have conversations, yada, yada. But with me today is a woman who actually came onto my new dating show. It's called Dating IRL, where we did a whole makeover together live. And you can catch that if you go to datingirl.tv. It was fantastic. And she has been finding dating challenging overall. And she came onto the show to get a little help. And what we really uncovered is that there was a lot more than just that dating was hard, that there were challenges about having herself get out there too. And being a single mom after a divorce, she struggled with her body confidence. Opening up to men was a little bit difficult, and knowing how to even find dates. And she's finding it even harder online, which is what we want to focus on today, where she says that men just don't respond to her. They just don't. And so I'm hoping to do a little detective work as we continue to crack the code and uncover some of her roadblocks in the dating world, both online and off. Welcome, Sandi. Are you there?
Hi, Kimmy. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God. Again, like I love that I get to see you again.
Ditto.
Right. No, this has been such a beautiful journey. And I love that we've been doing it on air in so many different ways. And I mean, I'd love for you to introduce yourself, because not everybody has seen the show, which I mean, you kind of told a lot about yourself, but maybe just a recap on just your journey a little bit and the challenges you're having, and then we'll kind of get into it.
Okay. My gosh, how far back do I go? Well, my name is Sandi. I'm 50 years old. I'm a single mom of two amazing boys. I have been divorced for 8 years and have not really done a ton of dating in that time. I had like one little, I don't know, like a flingish kind of thing, like a quasi, like a mini relationship. I don't even know what to call it. Just before the pandemic, which, that was good because at least I know everything works. But, but yeah, I feel like, I mean, maybe because of my weight, I don't know, like men just don't see me as a woman. I mean,
Mm,
clearly I'm not a man. They don't see me as a man. They register that I am female, but they don't see me as a woman.
mm,
And if I like I don't really meet men just out and about. Like if they talk to me, it's just transactional or polite or whatever. I'm not feeling any heat. And then when it comes to the online stuff, the guys that are liking me are not the ones that I'm liking.
mhm,
So I am getting some attention, but I mean, I really want a guy who's first of all older than me and Jewish and like at my level or above in terms of, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a go-getter,
yeah.
so somebody who punches a time clock is not going to understand the way that my mind works and my energy and my drive. So, so I do get like young guys sometimes. I don't know if they think
Mm.
like, oh, she's older and fat, she'd be a great sugar mom. Like I don't know but I'm not getting the men that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I have questions around that, but I also wanted to recap a couple things that we also uncovered on the show. And um it was really beautiful how you were sharing some of the struggles that you had with just your weight and looking in the mirror and not loving what you saw and remembering how you used to be too and how that affected your sexy confidence. You want to talk a little bit about that too?
yeah, well, and there's some trauma as well, right? I mean, my weight was a major issue in my marriage and the breakup of my marriage.
Hmm.
Um and so there's definitely that. But I mean, like in my mind's eye, I still look the same way that I did, right? So if I see a
Yeah.
picture, it's kind of like, oh, wait a second, who's that? Or I look at pictures and I'm like, I mean, obviously when we do selfies, it's a different angle than when somebody's holding it at belly level or whatever. But I mean, I think I'm cute. I think I'm still sexy and attractive and whatever. Um, but I don't feel that other people, especially like
Yeah.
men, like, well, women tell me how beautiful I am all the time. But
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, unfortunately, that's not the way I'm wired. I wish I were. So,
Yeah.
you know, um, yeah. And the thing that's so funny, like, I mean, maybe I just peaked too young. Maybe that was it. Maybe like from 15 to, 28 when I got married, when I like could walk into a room and like the heads would turn and like maybe that was it. Maybe that was my time and I peaked and I don't know. But
Uh, okay, wait, I want to hit
yeah.
on that. Yeah, because you still are that woman and you are stunning. And while you say that when you look in the mirror, you still kind of see that woman, there were also some things, though, that you did share around when you put yourself out there with men in your body language, because there might be some fear, like to your point, is that while yeah, like you still know that she's in there, there may be fear of then showing that side of you. So those are two different things too.
Yeah, and I mean probably where the fear manifests more is like if I were to see a guy that I thought would might be interesting,
Yes, yeah.
my immediate next thought would be, oh, but he wouldn't like me.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That's what I think is important, like what you just said, because on the surface, it would seem, well, I don't understand why guys aren't responding, but there might be things that you're doing with your body language, with the way your pictures read online, with, what that's almost like a love shield because there's some fear in there. And also that feeling that you just said of not being good enough. Where is that coming from? Is that from the trauma of what like messages you heard?
Well, I mean, I think it's also coming from the empirical evidence of guys not talking to me. God, they're not
Mm.
coming after me. They're not coming up to me. They're not looking at me in that way. They're not asking for my phone number. They're not doing any of the things that they did when I was a Barbie doll and, in my early 20s or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, and I don't look at women who are overweight like, oh, she's not attractive. Like I look at, wow, she's really sexy. Oh, that's a beautiful child. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
but so yes, that idea that, that I'm not attractive in this body probably, I mean, definitely, there was, from my ex-husband or whatever, but then
Mhm.
is supported by the total lack of interest.
Well, yeah, and then right, it kind of works together. It's like a loop almost, and it's like what you just said is really important. You'll see a cute guy who you find attractive, but immediately your brain goes to, oh, he wouldn't find me attractive. So then maybe you don't put out the signals because you're like, oh, well, he wouldn't like me anyway. Do you see? Like it could be all intertwined, and it's almost like a chicken and egg thing, like which is happening first, and not to say there is something first, but there's an energetic thing that's happening where something's not happening,
Right.
and that's the pattern. And so, um, but one thing I did want to go back to is it was so beautiful to kind of watch you transform in the studio, at least just with the clothes piece. Like I know we didn't agree on everything and you're still wearing the things of some of the things you like, which I totally honor. We were laughing about that off air, like the pockets and the patterns. However, there were some things that I think were like aha moments, and you had a date afterwards. So I do want to talk about that, and then we'll get back to just where you are now.
Yeah, I definitely paid attention when you were talking about necklines,
Yes.
when you were giving me the neckline tutorial, and I have definitely applied that. I mean, I've gone through, I actually got rid of a bunch of things in my closet that had those, more kind of high
Oh,
necklines or whatever,
good.
you know, got, especially if it had a high neckline and no pockets, like nothing redeeming about it. If it was pink, then I had to think about it for a second longer, but
Just so you know what we're talking about, there was this running through line joke, and well, it wasn't a joke. It started out as a real thing, but then it literally like came up all the time where Sandi really she just loves pockets. And so everything ended up having to have a pocket, but it was more or less how she used the pocket instead of a purse, for instance, which isn't always sexy when you have like your phone in your pocket, And so that was what she was referring to. Anyway, continue. Yeah. And I
right.
love the neckline on you. And those of you who can't see her, you can hop over to YouTube and see her interview there. She's wearing this gorgeous red top. Is it a top or a dress?
It's a dress.
Oh, it is a dress.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
dress.
okay. Yeah, because I can't see the whole thing. But just,
Here,
yeah,
let me
a
see if I can
stand up.
there.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh,
And so
she's
it's convertible. Like it could be kind of off the shoulder
yes.
or it can be on the shoulder.
Well,
And
and that's
it has nice
it
camouflage
has pockets.
pockets.
But I love see now those are cute pockets, especially when it's on like a frilly skirt. See, and that's the other thing. It's how you use it and how it kind of reads, in the garment. So anyway, no, you look stunning. And also like the solid colors, like that red looks gorgeous. And then you wore that green that kind of like it was a green like
It
I
was a
have
teal,
on, but
yeah, it was a teal like what you're wearing, yeah.
and it was just stunning. So you have to go watch the show because she just looked amazing. She got her hair and her makeup done. Um, and then you had a date.
And then I had a date. Yes, yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit? Let's do
Yeah, sure. So that was fun. I mean, it
uh
was for me, it was 100% blind date.
Yes.
I didn't see a picture of him. I didn't ask any questions about him. Um, so we went, I'll just kind of recap. I mean, obviously you were there, but I'll just
And it
kind of like,
wasn't this like one of your first dates that you've had in a long time, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was huge.
Basically since the start of the pandemic. So it's been
Yeah.
at least 3 years. Yeah. So, I went, we went and you found him and, kind of made the introduction. And then you disappeared and then he and I went and started talking and the restaurant was pretty busy. So,
Yeah.
we tried to get a table and they didn't have one. But so then we went to go sit back at the bar and then they found us a table. So then we went to sit at the table and he was a really nice guy. He was total gentleman. Um, you know, nothing nothing was wrong with him, but he just wasn't what I was looking for. Like, so, I mean, the first big thing is just that he wasn't Jewish, and that's something that I thought, and I told you
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't care if he was Jewish or not, as long as he wasn't deeply involved in another religion, as long as he was more
Mm-hmm.
secular. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm really coming to realize that even though my kids are grown, it's more important to me than I thought
Mm-hmm.
to be
Mm-hmm.
with somebody Jewish. So that was one thing, right? And then he's a sweet, hardworking guy. He's good in his job. But he works in a job where basically punches the time clock and is reporting to somebody else. And while there is room for upward mobility, he leaves his work at work,
Mm-hmm. Which is
right?
different than an entrepreneur for
Exactly. I'm an
sure. Yeah.
entrepreneur. Like, I am never not thinking about my work. And if
Mm-hmm.
and if if I'm not with somebody who's also, like C-level or driven, a type of person whose work comes home with them also, then they're not going to get the way that I think, my mentality, my drive, the way that I am, that anything that I do, right? Like, I paint these little flowers for my own barrettes. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I have them for me. I should start selling them. How do I monetize this? Right. So, I mean, that's the way my mind works is, okay, here's something I like. I'm going to do it because it's fun. And now I want to figure out how I can make money on it too. So somebody who works for someone else and is able to leave their work at work, they're just not going to get that about me. And I think that was one of the comments that I made, was that I talk too much about my work, or, my passion projects or things like that. Um, so, but although I knew that about myself, that I needed somebody like that, I think that sitting across from him, like, really kind of honed it in for me, right? Like, really made me,
Yeah.
like, really fully aware, as I'm, like, kind of sitting there going, okay, he's really nice, he's really a gentleman, like, where is the disconnect? And then I'm kind of analyzing it myself too, like, okay, why is it that he said this? And I'm kind of like, oh, so I think that's it, is like, so there we go too, right? So I need a guy who's living a big life, that's a big person. I don't mean physically, I mean, in their world. And then we bring in the insecurity, right? Here comes the imposter syndrome and the saboteur. Like, oh, but why would he ever want me, right? Like, I'm getting interested in production now, as you know. I'm trying
Yes.
to um I am producing a TV show. I'm working
Yes,
on
you
my
are.
languaging, on my words here, right?
Yes,
I
you
am
are.
producing a TV show that will be picked up by a network, that will be sold. Um, and, I would love a guy that's from the world of production, right? That gets this world, that's part of this world that I really want to get into there too, because we'll have a common language. But then, here comes little Miss Meanie, like, oh, well, these men see every gorgeous woman in the world, like the most gorgeous, the most smart, the most, like, whatever, who have everything you have, and are, 5'8" in the perfect size zero package. Why would they want you? And I can't answer that. And actually, somebody asked me that one time, and I couldn't come up with an answer.
Hmm.
And so, and I,
And
yeah.
okay.
I mean, I know that that's a limiting belief that needs to be worked on. I know it's ridiculous, and it's there.
Hey, I just want to pause for a second. I don't mean to interrupt your listening, but I have a really important announcement to make. A lot of you are saying that you're feeling really insecure about dating and have that strong desire to feel that sexy confidence when you're getting back out there, especially just feeling magnetic overall. And if that is you, you are not the only one. I've helped thousands of people, and you know this listening to my podcast. If you are listening to my podcast for a while, I help so many people with their confidence and find fulfilling relationships, especially if you're dating later in life. And that is why I'm holding a live co-ed interactive workshop called The First Impression Makeover. In just 60 minutes, you will get my proven techniques to craft your authentic style, master share some body language hacks, make unforgettable first impressions, and feel empowered to date. And now is the time to feel great about yourself, attract partners you click with, and reignite your mojo. The first impression makeover workshop is happening so soon. Oh my gosh, it's around the corner. I just realized that. So get the details, claim your spot now. You can find it in the show notes or go to stophatingdating.com. This is your chance to take control of your dating destiny. Now back to the episode. Yeah, but also, do you hear the double bind you're putting yourself in?
Yeah. I mean, I know. I just
Yeah. I also and I think this might also, and we're going to take a look at your profile, by the way, and I'm super excited to do this with you.
yeah.
Because I think also it's hard to see something when you see it all the time, right? It's just that, and just look at it from a neutral standpoint. But a lot of the things that you're searching for and looking for, number one, I'm hearing a lot of kind of fact driven things that you would like from them. Okay. And I get that. Like, and look, there's negotiables and there's non negotiables, right? Things that you could live without, things that there's no way that you could do. And everyone has their own, it's personal to everybody. But also, like, I guess what I'm wondering about, because you're saying that you would like someone in production, you'd like someone Jewish, you would like someone who's, like an entrepreneur. Those are facts about people. What
Okay,
about
Jewish is probably non-negotiable. The rest is me kind of thinking like this would be optimal or ideal.
correct? Now,
But
what I want to peel away the layer of this though.
okay.
What I'm not getting, and this is what I want to do a deep dive with you in, is what about the person? Like, what kind of qualities are you looking for in a guy? Like, forget about what they do, their profession, their religion.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you're wanting from a man in ways of like the heart and the personality and the
Okay. So
chemistry.
first and foremost, he has to be a mensch. I mean,
Okay, for those
so let me
people who
define
don't
it.
know what
Right.
a
Yeah.
mensch is.
Yeah. So a mensch is a
Yes.
really, really, really good person, right?
Ah,
I
okay,
mean,
now we're getting somewhere.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So somebody who is philanthropic, somebody who is kind, somebody who is generous, somebody who is not an asshole. I mean, like you know,
Yeah.
somebody who speaks to others with good humor, right? Who doesn't have a short temper. I mean, and who is looking for ways to make the world a better place. Not like activist necessarily kind of way, but just in the daily interactions, right? As a character quality, I guess. So menschlichkeit is non-negotiable, right? I can't be
Mm-hmm.
with a guy that's a jerk. I
Mm-hmm.
I I don't have to be with a
No,
man, right?
and these no, now see, these are the important things I want to
Yeah,
hear because again, because you can have an asshole Jew
right.
who
Yes. Not yes.
who's in production, right? Like you
You
could
absolutely can, and that would be a deal breaker
that
for
would
me.
be not
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So the
Yeah.
quality of the people, like this is, I think, a lot of the things that we should look at a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
So
then
obviously really important. He's got to think that I'm just like the best thing ever.
that's what I wanted to know too. Like in
Yes.
relation to
Yes.
you, how do you want to feel when you're with
Yeah,
him?
no, I not just I want, I need to
Yes.
feel that I am the most special person in the world to him, that we're partners, that it's him and I against the world, and that our unit, our team is first and foremost against I, I, with everything else, against everything else, whatever, right? I mean, so that's important. Family values are important to me, right? And family values in I guess the Jewish sense of the word, of valuing the people that are your family and spending time with them, not family values of you can't have an abortion and I'm going to tell you what to do with your body. So I just, when I'm talking about family values, I mean
Mhm.
value of family. um,
Yes, yes.
right? So what I mean by that, for example, is my ex-husband's in my daily life, right? Um, he's in my daily life because my children need him. And it's more important to me that my children have what they need than that, you know, than that I'm whatever, right? Taking the stand that this isn't my responsibility or whatever, because family is most important. And even though he's not my husband, he is my children's father. He is still part of my family.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, my parents are in my daily life. I live less than a mile from them. So it's really important that one, he's connected to his family, and two, that he appreciates and is willing to join in to my connection to my family.
See, I love all those, Danny. Like, and this is more like this is real stuff, like so important for a relationship. Now, I want to take a look at your profile, and
Okay.
then I also want to take a look at, given some of the things that you're wanting, to also now talk about dating,
Mm-hmm.
because what you're also talking about is like the long game, right? The long term
Oh,
when you're
yeah. I
having,
don't want to date. I just want to be I just want a perfect
you
relationship.
want to just skip it all and go right to the boyfriend, don't you?
I do. Yes.
Right.
I want to go right to the phase where we're comfortable with each other and we can
Yes.
fart in front of each other.
Yeah. How about flirt before fart? Can we that should be a motto. Let's flirt before fart.
Well,
Because
I mean, ideally, our relationship would be one that we're always flirting, that like goes away.
yeah,
Like
but
my parents have been married 55 years and they hold hands in public, they giggle, they flirt. Like, I want that.
you can have that, but there may be some steps you need to do in order to get that. So here's what I want you to think about. We're in a marathon a little bit. And if you're trying to race to the finish line when you're in a marathon, you're going to get hurt. You have to train. You have to
Right.
pace yourself, right? And so I think with the way that you're also going about things with men out in the world, and I'm guessing online, is you're vetting so hard for all these like qualities too, that you're losing what dating's supposed to be about too. And I know you want to go to the PhD program right now in dating, but you told me you don't have a lot of dating experience. We got to go back to the playground and learn how to play with the boys. And they might not all have everything on that list, but like what happened with the guy that we set you up with, really what you're doing is you're dating yourself because you're getting to know yourself with each and every interaction. And I think you'll find it so much more pleasant when you take some of those expectations off the plate of all those things you're looking for, because that's a tall order. And not that you can't have that, but we got to start with a little bit of an appetizer before we get to the meal. So can we share the screen and look at your profile?
Yeah,
That'll make
absolutely.
sense of what I'm saying. I know you don't like it necessarily, but oh, here we go. Okay. But does that make sense, Sandi?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I get what you're saying, and you are absolutely right. Like, I don't want to kiss frogs. I just want my match. I want my
Yeah,
beshert, my
right.
soulmate.
And I think that that is exactly one of the reasons why to be honest, it also can be part of a love shield too, because if someone doesn't have the exact points on the resume, you're already like off of it, like you shut down, you swipe left, whatever that is, in fear of dot dot dot,
But
or
well, then
right.
but then there's also the flip side that like, you're reading somebody's profile and like, you're like thinking like, oh, I don't know, should I do it? Would it work? Oh, okay, fine, I'll give him a chance. You swipe right
Uh-huh.
and nothing. They didn't swipe on you.
Yes. And the thing that a lot of people, and especially new daters, go through is the sense of resiliency that you have to like go through. And look, I mean, we're the same age. Anybody who is over the age 40 finds this whole process of online dating just daunting. Like we didn't have this back in the day. Like you actually dated people in real life to see if they would be your boyfriend and eventually get married. We had a different mindset. Um, I want to go back to the mindset thing because it's like what I was saying in the beginning of this episode. A lot of it is going to be the way that we're going to use the profile. Just like I had you go out with that gentleman. Like I want you to look at it in a little more open way. But first, let's look at your pictures. First of all, the first picture I see is just gorgeous. Like I love that headshot of you. I just think the smile, the blue, just everything about it, like your head cocked, like everything about it is fun, flirty, feminine, and just beautiful. So like A+ for that.
But here's a question. It's
Yeah.
a couple of years old. I'm a little bit heavier now, although my weight,
Mm-hmm.
does go up and down quite a lot. Is it still okay to use it? I mean, it's also a selfie, so I've got, a really great angle.
I don't no, I don't mind selfies as long as it's good lighting. It paints you in a really good picture. And how old is it? Is it more than 2 years old?
Probably just about right around there.
No, 2 years. The rule of thumb is like, if anything is like older than 2 years, they say get rid of it because then usually people shift a little bit in the way they look, or their hair color is different, or their weight is different. But honestly, you look the same to me. And I love this picture. I think it captures your essence. So okay, let's see the next picture.
Okay.
Oh wait,
There's
let's read this out loud.
okay.
So you want to read it?
Sure. Me.
Okay, go ahead.
Vivacious, curvy, loyal, quirky, sparkly, kind entrepreneur. You. A mensch, the rest is commentary, which is also kind of a bit of a joke. Like in Jewish culture and Jewish tradition, Rabbi Hillel was asked, what is the Torah standing on one foot? And basically what he said is, be good to one another. The rest is commentary. Um,
Ah,
so
okay.
it's a little bit of a Easter egg, I guess, that comment.
Yes, yeah, yeah, Easter egg, right, right. I love it.
Together, we travel, explore new places and foods, laugh all the time, take joy in doing big things or doing nothing. We can have fun going out to a fancy place or even just to the DMV.
I think that is awesome. And you used a formula that I teach a lot, and I don't know if someone helped you with this, but you did exactly what I tell people is you have a little bit about you have a little bit about him, and a little bit about what you would be doing together. So that kind of three-prong formula I always teach and preach, and you did it. So it's fun. And on Bumble you don't get a lot of room
Right, that's it.
for
I'm maxed out.
novels. Yeah, like there's no Harlequin romance here, and nor there should be. So, okay, great. So far, so good. What's next?
There's another picture that's in Fiji.
Okay, so this is where I start. I see a different person already. Now, you know how I feel about patterns. And
Yeah.
so she's wearing a pattern dress, and you're squinting in the sun, and your hair's frazzled. Um, to me, this picture is about the beauty of the island and not of you. And I honestly, and this is something I say all the time, you're only as good as your worst picture, because you could have one picture, and you've seen this in guys' profiles, it's true. There could be like one picture of the guy that is not that great, and all of a sudden, like the brain thinks, oh well, that's what they really look like, or no, you'll make a decision just based on that. And also like your hand, it looked like you were maybe moving your hair in the wind, but it caught you in a weird moment.
Yeah.
So the body language is kind of weird too. So I would definitely take out this picture. The other one is so cute. So let's see what else you got. Cute. So it's a selfie.
It's a selfie.
Yeah, it's a selfie, but you're wearing a solid pink. I like it. It's fun. Um, I don't approve every selfie if it's not, again, good lighting, cute. Like I'd rather have this one up than that last one, because this one, yeah, and I like that it shows, because you do wear glasses. It shows you in the glasses as well. Like now we see both sides of you, so I like that. Okay.
Okay. That one's probably older.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't hate it and
I
I
just
don't love
don't
it.
have any full body pictures.
Well, I was gonna tell you that. So
Okay.
one thing that's really important that everyone always wants to see a full body. And when you don't show a full body, they always think you're hiding something. And so then they're like, oh, well, what is she hiding? Like that's kind of like what I hear guys say. And at least this shows more of your body. I mean, you look cute. It's just, it's really busy in the background. And
Hmm.
so the eye kind of goes all over the place. Like I want the pictures to really focus on you looking hot and good. And I'm so glad you said right before air that you don't have any pictures of you in a dress. And now I want you to replace the pictures from dating IRL
Oh,
to
okay.
this one.
Yeah, if you got a
And
good
that'll
one,
be,
definitely.
yes. And I think that would be a good replacement.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What else do you have other ones? I couldn't
Yeah.
remember. Oh, definitely get rid of that one.
Really? I love that picture.
What
Okay.
do you love about it? I'm really curious.
I think it's cute. I think it makes my body look good. I like the red shoe. I mean, I think it's fun.
So while it is a
And
full
actually,
body,
that's like one of the only times that a guy did hit on me was in that dress.
okay, but that was in IRL, right? That wasn't online.
Right.
Right. So again, it's not that it's a bad dress necessarily. I like the bodice a lot.
Right. That's what I like about it.
Right. And you and I have talked, like, I like when we show a little more legs. It's just a lot of skirt down below. It's not that the lighting's bad and I can't really see your face. It's,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? Like, really, all I see is this like polka dotted dress.
Okay.
So I'd rather, a lot of the lighting and stuff, because remember, it only takes 7 seconds to make a first impression. And these guys are scrolling through so fast. I'd rather you have the green dress, that selfie, and that headshot, and just call it a day for now until you get maybe other pictures. And let's just see what happens. Like I've done this with people where I've had them remove like one picture and it changes the entire algorithms, first of all, when you change pictures on the profile. And a
Okay.
whole new slew of men hit her up just by changing one picture. And it was like the guys that she was actually looking for, because she wasn't advertising herself in the way that, like also it was important. Like it sounds like you want kind of more professional kind of guys. We can't call out all the entrepreneurs in the world. However, you're wanting somebody who's successful, who has his own life, and all the other menschy qualities. But like, let's advertise you in a little more sophisticated way too to match that. So I think
Okay.
that green dress will do it because that you looked stunning in that.
Okay. I will make those changes.
Okay. Ooh, I love this one.
That's an older picture too.
I like, what would be okay, what would be really fun as an experiment? Because, like I say, when you change the pictures, you change the algorithms. Why don't we try putting this one first?
Okay.
Because men click on pink and red way more than any other color. And when you have the first picture as in that color, it's like a stop sign for them.
Okay.
So let's see what happens. Like just change out these pictures in the order.
Okay.
I love it. So she's wearing this pink top that's off the shoulders, which we love the skin, and you wear your glasses and you just look great. And I love, by the way, I'm reading some of the things that are in there. I mean, you're a great writer. I don't have to worry about you with this. Like the content is there. I just think if we work on changing out some pictures, it might be interesting. So okay. So we got that.
Okay. And then we're back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So now what is happening? Is there anything you want to tell me or share with me in ways of like the conversations that are happening online?
I mean, they don't get very far.
But how often are you swiping right? Meaning saying yes.
Well, okay, so right now I have my Bumble set to Jewish. And
Okay.
just as an experiment, the other day, I literally swiped right on everybody until I got sick of swiping. I didn't even look at them. I just swipe, 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 swipe.
Okay. And
Zero.
zero. Okay.
Not
And
one
what
match.
oh, you know what I wanted to look at? What is the demographics, the like the age range and also the radius that you put?
The rate, let's see. How do I
So if you go to settings,
let me see.
Yep. Okay.
So 48 to 61. 48 is actually kind of young, but I thought, okay, I don't really want a younger guy. But we'll be open. Maybe there's a guy who's younger but still mature. But my
And you're
ex,
you're 50, right?
I'm 50. Yeah, my ex
Okay.
was a couple years younger than me, and I want to be the pretty young thing, you know? Like,
Yeah. No, that's a good age range. And I
yeah.
usually
So
say your
my
stated
distance is the
age.
whole country. Like, I feel like I've
Okay.
done as much as I can to keep it as open as I can, except for the Jewish thing.
Okay. Have you ever tried where you unfilter the Jewish thing and just like open it up?
Yeah, it was just recently that I put the Jewish filter.
Oh, okay. And when you didn't have the Jewish filter, was it the same thing? It was crickets?
Well, I mean,
Were you saying no to anyone who was not Jewish? I guess that's what I'm asking.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, no, I wasn't. Like, I've started conversations with guys that aren't Jewish, but then, I quickly realized, like,
Mm-hmm.
mm, this matters to me.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
matters to me.
You
So,
can stop sharing your screen. Okay. So I have some ideas for you because obviously, like, we're not gonna solve the problem, right here. But I think we can at least start doing some things that might be a little different for you. And let's talk about just your mission right now.
okay.
Okay. Because I often talk about, like how we do business mission statements. I always do dating mission statements. And I would love for you to, like, for homework, write down what your mission would be just around dating, not a relationship. I'm going to tell you right now, nothing on this
Oh,
mission statement should say boyfriend. I'm sorry. I know you want to.
or relationship, or,
No boyfriend, no relationship. We are sticking with the mission of dating. Sandi, you haven't dated. Like, let's just get you practice with dating. And she's making a face. And I know for you listening, you can so relate because
can I tell you, it
relationship,
doesn't sound fun to me. It sounds exhausting. Like,
yeah.
like when you're like, go on a lot of dates, like I'm not like excited, like, oh yay, lots of free dinners, and I'm like, oh,
But let's talk about the mindset of what a date could be for you. Like when you think of the word dating and it exhausts you, what exhausts you about it? Like what gives you that bad taste in your mouth?
I have to spend time to do my hair and makeup. I have to wear clothes that are probably not very comfortable. Um, then
Ah.
I have to be like on my best behavior to, like try to pretend like I'm a normal person. And it's just,
What do you mean by that? Sandi, you are a normal person. What do you mean by that?
well, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm hyperactive. I'm, like fidgety. I'm, like I am more comfortable man spreading when I sit than sitting nicely and demurely with everything tightly tucked together. I mean,
Okay, so
so
we're kind of getting somewhere here because I think it feels exhausting because
it
you
feels
feel
exhausting.
you feel like you have to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I get,
and then I got
yeah,
to play some sort of game,
yeah,
that like the, every single thing has to be some sort of calculation of, okay, when is it my turn to talk? Oh, but I only supposed to talk 20%, but like I don't know, like I just feel like, especially in like initial dating, like you can't just be you. Like,
yeah. Well, and I think maybe that's why also the online dating thing feels really like stiff and hard because there's this like etiquette and like kind of structure to it almost. It feels very staccato and right, rule driven, as you said. And um I'm so glad you mentioned that because no wonder like you hate dating, because I like if I felt that way about every single time I had to go out and meet somebody, like Yeah, no wonder it is way better to just be on your couch or focus on your business or, whatever it is. So I think there needs to also be a different conversation and shift in the way that you think of what dating is. Because the truth is, Sandi, you're amazing the way you are. And if you're spending so much time trying to think of all these things of like the right thing to do, that is going to backfire,
Well, I mean, part of that is being ADHD. That is
Yeah,
our life, not
right.
just with dating, with everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so much of my entire life, like, oh, if you would just sit down and focus, if you would just this, if you would just that, you're too this, you're too that, you're too much, right?
Oh,
My entire life. So, and I think that this is something that's very common for people with ADHD.
yeah.
I'm a Gen X, right? We didn't diagnose girls back in the 80s. I was just a behavior problem, but I think that this is something very common. Like, we have an invisible disability, right? Or I
Yeah.
don't really consider it a disability, honestly. I do consider it kind of a superpower in other ways. But we look the same, but our minds work differently, right? And our
Right.
minds work differently in a way that can cause us to be very socially awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't read between the lines. I don't have that ability. I trust when people tell me something that that's what they mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have the ability to pick up on those little clues, even body language and stuff. One time you'd ask me about that, if
Yeah.
I read people's body language, and I don't. I really depend on people being straight up with me. And it's exhausting for me to try to play the game all the time of, how is what I'm doing affecting them? Am I okay? Am I offending? Am I too much? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But
and
that's
that's even more amplified. I mean, like, and this is just in a normal, like, networking situation, or even a group, or even just, like, me and you, this is kind of always running in the background, but then amplify it 100-fold for a dating situation, when, not that the stakes are high, but kind of, and then,
yeah. But see,
also,
I think
I mean, I want to be liked. I mean, like, there's
yeah,
all of
yeah,
that.
yeah. But look at all the things that are firing in your brain. And no wonder it's hard to just think about dating. And it is easier to just want to skip this phase to get to the boyfriend because of that. Like now, I mean, because all the things that you're saying, and some of it is how you process in your brain, but it's also some of the messages you got growing up too. Like, stop doing that. You're too much. Sit down.
Right.
And so anytime there's a dating rule, or it feels like that little girl gets triggered again of like, oh my God, so now I got to do this again just to please, or, whatever it is. So I think I think the best way of attacking this is really just like simplifying everything for you, because right now it's so complex in your brain and there's all these things. And that's why, instead of thinking about every interaction, every meeting as a way of vetting for your boyfriend, I think that's why it's so hard, because you keep looking at everything as like, is this my boyfriend? Is this my boyfriend? I want it, it's too exhausting. I think if you just look at this as practice and getting comfortable, just getting comfortable being with different men. And let's not even call it dating. Like, forget the word dating. Let's just say, I'm going to have a couple meetings, just like we did with that gentleman. We're just going to have a meeting and just being you, being comfortable being you. Because the truth is, I mean, the right guy is going to love you. And this is, we didn't even get into the feedback of your date. And I know he wasn't the right person for you, but Sandi, he really liked you. Like, this is the feedback we got. We got feedback that you were gorgeous, that you were beautiful. He thought that you were the kind of woman that he would want to date if you were closer, and he understood the differences, but that he had not one thing bad to say. And we had every opportunity to say, just say like something that like she could work on it. He had no words. So again, the other thing is, I think what we think in our head is often worse than what other people think of us as well. And that's just human nature. We always are our own worst enemy, and things. And so I think if you just use this platform like Bumble, or going to I would go to entrepreneur events and just get comfortable with talking with men
Oh,
in
I,
maybe
I talk
smaller
to
situation.
I mean, I talk to guys. I have no problem talking to guys. They just don't see me as a woman. I mean, I go to tons of conferences.
Right. But
And
I'm saying maybe upping the ante a little bit and just the mindset, because I don't know if you go into the mindset of like a conference of like, I'm going to go man hunting. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
But
always
do you,
hoping.
but you're hoping, but do you go at it where you're like talking to guys in a way that's more flirtatious? I know that might be harder for you, but
I
in
don't
your
know.
mind, are you feeling like you're flirting?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah. I mean, I don't feel like they are.
Right, right.
Or
Yeah.
and also, I mean, okay, obviously if somebody's wearing a wedding ring, it's real clear what their relationship status is, but if there's no rings, there's also kind of that like you don't know
Well,
who's.
yeah, and if there's no ring or if there is a ring, I always tell people like it's also if you make a connection with somebody who's married, it's good to even put yourself out there. Say, hey, I'm single, looking to mingle. If you have any friends, and just I guess you know if you're already doing that at conferences, okay. But I just like to be more like intentional in the way that you meet guys, but also open yourself up a little more. I think there's just an opening that gets to happen. And I would just entertain it and doing it in like chunks of time. Because as you get more comfortable, maybe in like 3 months, then you can renegotiate your mission. Maybe you will be ready to get more serious with guys. But right now, I would just like think of it as learning how to play. And maybe with some of the new clothes or some little body language stuff that you can try, changing out the pictures, I would open it up to non-Jewish just as ways of like practicing conversation. Because again, like if your mission isn't like you don't really care if these guys are your boyfriend, it's a different focus. And then you can just open up to everybody because there could be a non-Jewish person who has all these other qualifications you're looking for. And I've seen this happen a lot where there's things that are really important to people and when two people are in love, things sometimes work out. Not saying all the time, but so anyway, I think just using the platform first of all as a party online. That's what I call it. Where you're just talking to different people and you're just not really caring as much and just practicing conversations. See if you can get like a phone call, even maybe a meeting. And I would just get comfortable in this space for 3 months. And within that, like maybe put down some skills that you really want to work on, like getting out of your head, like maybe relaxing into your body, like different things. Because I think when you're focused on skills, it's so much easier than focusing on a boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
And then that'll build your confidence, And the other thing I was thinking about is thinking of where your tribe might be, and I say tribe just meaning like obviously all the qualifications that you're looking for. Conferences are one, but are you involved in any like social clubs or anything like that?
No, and I keep trying to go to things thinking, oh, maybe this will be a good place to meet people, and
Mm-hmm.
then it'll be like 50 blonde women and one guy.
Ah, okay. So well, you got it, and also, but looking for a
or
single
or the things that I'm interested in, just I guess more women than men,
women
even
or
though,
men.
yeah.
But weren't you saying you don't have a lot of single girlfriends, or you do? Are
I
you wanting?
don't.
Because I mean, I would look at your social life just not just with men, but also women, because it's isolating when you're trying to also do this by yourself. And I think it would be different if you had a couple girlfriends that you could go out on the town with and like the Sex and the City gal,
Yeah,
things. And so
yeah.
when you go to these, be open to meeting fabulous women as well. Again, it's more of an openness that I would love for you to entertain.
Uh-huh, yeah. I think it's hard at this age to make friends too.
It is. It is. No,
I
and that's why you have to be more intentional because gone are the days of the infrastructure of college, right?
Right,
Where
yeah.
we all had kind of our social life built in. So that's why I'm saying like I'd write down a bunch of hobbies, maybe go to some meetups. You can even start your own group and then have friends. I've had people do that too. And so maybe through your temple there's something that you want to start, or I don't know. Like I would get you're creative, Sandi. Like I feel like you if you really put your mind set around this and you let go of some of this um either, well, like you're saying, some of it's fear, but some of it is just like you don't want to do it. you know
Yeah, okay. I'll accept that. Yeah.
yeah, right. I mean, let's face it, like there's just like there's a little bit of kicking and screaming that you're doing,
Yeah,
so
okay. Yeah.
it's, you got to decide really what it is you want. Because if you truly want to get to the finish line and have that beautiful man that you described, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. I do. I do.
All right. So I think that
We
that's enough
can't
homework.
arrange a meet cute. Like,
We can't what?
can I just start bumping my shopping cart into guys' shopping carts or something?
I will allow you to do that when you get to junior high. Let's get let's start with kindergarten. This
Okay.
is what I always tell my clients. You get to get more picky and you get to like do all that stuff when you get really good at being in kindergarten.
Got it.
You're
Got it.
still you're still like swirling around on the swings by yourself. And I really want you to stop and get more intentional with this. I know you don't want to do it, but you have to like really want this and start
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard where I am too. Like I feel like there's really a lot more opportunity up in LA.
Everything I say, there's also something that you counter with. That's another thing I have to do. And like you have excuses and you have things, and I believe you 100%. And as long as you tell yourself that, it's absolutely your truth.
Uh-huh.
100%. And I know that people who've lived in really remote areas have found love
I
when
don't know
they,
that San Diego's considered such a remote area.
that's why I'm saying, like, let's be real. Like, you can't complain. That's my whole point. And because then you would live in LA and you would say, oh, I feel like the guys here aren't real. I maybe, like we could, every city has something, every person has something, every man has something. But see, this is part of your defense, is what I'm saying. And so I,
Okay.
I want you to really start just opening up and being very simple about
Uh,
this. And once
okay.
you get comfortable and you start working on some of these limiting beliefs and fear-based stuff and excuses, you'll have more positivity. And that positivity is also going to help you a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel?
Okay. I mean, a little bit anxious, like you you
Honest.
you gave me a task and it's like okay.
Yeah. No, but that's real because I'm glad you're feeling that, because that means you're really like thinking of doing it. Because you could just walk away and say, okay, sure, Kim, I'm fine. Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
But if you're really thinking about it and you're doing it, like, yeah, that would cause anxiety. And I always say people don't change in a state of comfort. You only change when you're uncomfortable. So the fact that this feels a little icky, yeah, that probably means that's what you got to do. So, but I'm here for you, and maybe we'll have a follow up, and hopefully if the show, gets back into the studio, we'll have you back and we'll do this in bits and pieces, and don't overwhelm yourself either.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
well, I mean, look, I know that my way clearly has not been working, so
Right.
there is that.
Exactly. And I always tell people, like, it can't get any worse than it is now, like there's, even if you tried any of these little things that I'm telling you, what if you made a dent into your belief system, or what if you had a conversation with a guy? Like, that's a win. Like, I want you to see that what you did with that guy after 3 years of not having a date, even though he was not your boyfriend, that was a win. And he liked you. I think you're also hard on yourself too. Like, just, those are accomplishments. And high
Okay.
achievers have a hard time seeing it, that, like your
Right.
your
Yeah.
your accomplishment is, no, I'd have a boyfriend right now if that was an accomplishment. But no, just these little things are going to add up to that end game that you're searching for. So, Sandi, thank you.
No, Kimmy, thank you. I love talking to you. I mean, as much as I might push back and you're putting me out of my comfort zone. I really do love talking to you. And
Oh
I love
my
hearing your
gosh.
perspective and your wisdom.
Well, thank you. And thanks for being open and thanks for being truthful because a lot of people feel the way you do. And I think you helped a lot of people today just listening to your thought process because it is a process, So thank
That is one of the blessings of ADHD. If it goes through my head, it's likely to come out my mouth.
yeah. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so are you, Sandi. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. Those of you listening, this has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And if you want help overcoming some of these challenges with dating, relating, flirting, you can always hop on a call with me. Just click the link you see in the show notes. I would love to help. Imagine just getting some ideas to break the cycle you have been dealing with for so long in one call. And remember, working on you is working on your dating life. That's all for now. Hey, before you head out of here, how are you feeling listening to this episode? I'm sure there's some things that you're thinking about that are coming up for you. And there are a lot of folks who are stuck in feeling insecure when it comes to dating. How are you feeling? Does this happen also in other parts of your life? I always talk about what shows up in one area often leaks into others. And that's why I am inviting you to join me for my upcoming interactive workshop called The First Impression Makeover. It's your crash course in finding your personal style, mastering body language, making unforgettable impressions, and feeling empowered with dating. And I really want to help you. So my workshop is happening very soon and spots are like really filling up quickly. So go to www.stophatingdating.com to claim your spot. And I really want you to feel sexy, confident, and excited about dating again. Or maybe it's even for the first time. And most of all, having fun doing it. And if you're not having fun, you definitely need to come to this. I can't wait to see you at this First Impression Makeover workshop. Sign up now by clicking stophatingdating.com. You will see that link in the show notes as well. And let's do this.